Okay, guys, I'm here to give my review of the 2017 Power Rangers movie, which I went to see last Sunday. Uh, Now, at the end of this review, I'll also probably say which I think is the better movie, this one or the NPR one, 95. So stay tuned for that. So we open kind of dark in 65 million years into the past. It's the Krezozoic era or whatever it is. So And basically, we see that a Yellow Ranger has been defeated and she demorphs. And then we notice that there's Zordon. And he's talking to Rita. And Rita was the Green Ranger. And Zordon was the Red Ranger who was killed by Rita Repulsa. Now, I instantly liked this. Because it goes into why Zordon and Rita don't like each other. It goes into what the show never bothered to do, which is explain Zordon Rita's backstory. Now, granted, it goes into some fan fiction stuff, but yeah. So, after that, Zordon hides the power coins so they can be found by a new team. And we then got to Angel Grove where Jason Scott and his friend are stealing the cow mascot of the opposing school, of the rival school. Uh, and Jason gets in trouble and he has to basically spend, I guess, the rest of the school year in detention on a Saturday or whatever it is. And thus he, I guess, is kicked off the football team. And thus, since this since apparently sports is the only thing that matters to anybody in this country, the Angel Grove football season is officially declared a dud. So, also in detention are Kimberly Hart and Billy Cranston. Kimberly is in detention for forwarding a not so kid friendly selfie of her best friend to her boyfriend or something. She gets cut out of her circle, her friendship circle, and kicked off the cheerleading team. And so she cuts her hair with pink scissors. Billy is in detention because he had a bomb in his lunchbox and he blew up his lunchbox. Huh. And he's arranging pencils and a bully basically picks on him, but Jason slaps the guy. So Billy and Jason become quick friends, and Billy helps Jason get around his little house arrest thing. So they go to this quarry where Billy and his dad used to mine or something, this gold mine. And Jason sees Kimberly dive. Kimberly ends up there. Zach's on a roof or something near there. He sees Trini bouncing on like a ledge. So Zach and Trini end up with the other three. And basically, they all find these shiny rocks. They're all the power coins. But they're also trespassing, of course. So they all are chased by security in Billy's mom's van. Jason rounds them all up, I think, including Trini and Zach. But they're all hit by a train. You would think movie over, right? Well, no. Turns out the power coins protected them from mortal harm. So basically, the power coins made the Power Rangers immortal, I guess. If they can make someone immortal, why didn't Zordon die? Anyway, back at school, they realize they all have powers, and they go back to where they found them. Zach and Trini and Tail, they jump over a cliff. Billy falls off after he makes the jump, but there's water there. They all jump into the water, and then they notice that they're all glowing. And then Billy says he's blue, and Zach, the Asian guy, says he's black. So yeah, now the Asian is the Black Ranger, and the black guy is the Blue Ranger. Well, at least they avoided what Saban did in the series. And basically they lead to the ship, Zordon's ship, where we are introduced to Alpha 5, who somehow is now Scorpion from Mortal Kombat. Because he has these arms that he can just fire off in any direction at, like, Scorpion's spear, and he goes get Zack and basically says, "Get over here!" And he takes him to Zordon, who is like one of those push pin things that we used to have as kids, and allows him to go around the whole ship. And he basically tells these 5 that they are the Power Rangers and that their destiny is to fight Rita Repulsa, who in 11 days' time will summon Goldar. Because she's looking for the Zeo Crystal, which is the source of all life. I actually thought the Zeo Crystal was a source of Power Ranger powers, but I guess it's now a source of all life. And by the way, speaking of that, the Zeo Crystal was also a source of powers that they never should have downgraded from. Anyway, the Rangers can't morph, so they're taken to the pit to train. We see the putties. We get the traditional training montage stuff. But Billy also figures out where the Zeo Crystal is, and this is a plot point for later. But we also notice that Rita is killing people for their gold. And I think she even takes the guy's gold teeth out of his mouth. Because this is what's powering up Goldar. Eventually, after Zack steals a Zord and goes joyriding, and almost hits a van full of singing nuns who are saying, "Go tell it on the mountain," because this is a Power Rangers movie after all, Jason and Zack get into a fight. And the impetus of that fight causes Billy to morph. Now, they say that Billy just morphed, but Zordon's like, "Do it again." And when Billy can't do it again, Zordon basically gives up on the Rangers. So they eventually all go back, except for Jason. And Jason overhears, basically, Zordon's whole thing. Is that basically all Zordon wants these 5 guys to do is morph so he can take over the team of being the Red Ranger. Because Zordon wants revenge. So yes, this does make Zordon kind of a douche. But on the other hand, it is understandable. So, the Rangers also, Zordon put in their head this image of Rita. And Rita now, that's also the same day that the campfire scene happens. Where the Rangers are around a campfire and they're telling their deepest, darkest secrets. Well, except for Kimberly and Jason, who don't say anything. We find out that Zack's mom is very sick and she's about to die. And we find out that, being around the other Rangers makes Billy not miss his dad anymore. And that's where the biggest controversy that I don't even think is a controversy comes into this movie. And that is that basically in an offline, Trini is saying how she's had to go to 3 schools in 3 years, and Zack's wondering why that is. And he says, boyfriend troubles, where Trini says, yeah. But then Zack goes, girlfriend troubles. Now, Trini does not say anything else after that. She just goes into saying that her family lives by labeling people. Yada, yada, yada. So, eventually, Rita goes to Trini's house and basically offers Trini this deal that if you help me, I'll spare your life and you can join me. Something like that. Now, Kimberly goes to Jason and says that in her mind, she's the reason they can't morph because of her secret. That's probably not the reason. Given how these power coins are, I guess, sentient now. They're kind of like the ninja power stars of Ninja Steel, come to think of it. But anyway, after finding out that Rita went to Trini's place, Jason, since he overheard what Zordon said, because they all want to go back to Zordon about this, that's when Jason says that Zordon doesn't actually care for him and just basically wants to use him as a tool to morph himself. So these 5 teenagers decide to fight an ancient evil unmorphed. Well, this goes to show that they have the heart for this job, mind you, but it doesn't go too well. In fact, they get their rear ends kicked, And basically, Rita has them all tied to things. And instead of calling them by name, she just calls them by collar. So she keeps calling everyone their collars. And she says that one of them knows where the Zeo Crystal is. And if she doesn't find out, she will kill each ranger or something like that. So she's about to kill Zack, and then Billy says where it is, and he says that the Zeo Crystal is under the Angel Grove Krispy Kreme. Oh yeah, product placement, but actually done in a very interesting way, where the product placement actually becomes part of the plot. Now, I've always said if you're going to do product placement, at least do it like that. So, and just to prove that she's serious, because Zordon was all respect for her, she didn't do this, Rita kills Billy. Yes. And basically all the team, they drag him back to Zordon's chamber. And basically they're all opining that Billy gave his life to save all theirs. And basically he gave his life to save them. And they each say that they would do the same for each of the other ones. That activates the morphing grid. So the Rangers finally, to where Zordon can come through it. And come back to life. What Zordon actually does is he lets Billy come back, because only one can come back to life. This is still a better explanation than Andros' magical tears and how Kendrix comes back to life in Lost Galaxy. So Zordon gives up his human form again so Billy can live again, thus redeeming his character. And the Rangers morph. And you get the traditional things in all superhero origin stories. Now the slow motion walking a line. Because that's a thing. And so Rita has summoned Goldar, who basically looks like a gigantic golden Zord. And she's telling Goldar to go find the Krispy Kreme. Something tells me that the Empress of all evil, Rita Repulsa, hunting for donuts would be a far better, funnier plot line than anything Rita did in the actual series. So the Rangers get their Zord, and it's here we get the theme song. And no, they didn't redub, and no, it's not a remix or anything like that. It's the original theme song, at least from the 1995 movie, but still the original theme song. And basically, you know, the Rangers, before they do that, they have to, and then Rangers fight their putties to get back into Zord. Jason apologized to Bumblebee because he picked up a yellow car. It's a funny line, but I really wish they would not stick the, whatever. So, Rita finds the Krispy Kreme, and for some reason, goes in and eats a donut. That had to be just because Krispy Kreme insisted on Rita Repulsa eats a Krispy Kreme donut in a Power Ranger movie, because her plan, it would make no sense for her to actually take time out of it to eat a donut. So Goldar destroys the Krispy Kreme. And while he's destroying Angel Grove, Jason's dad is in the middle of something. He's driving through Mariner Bay, the corner of Mariner Bay and some other Power Ranger place. But I guess Goldar attacks him. And Jason sees this, and Jason goes and saves his dad with his visor down. Because, and that's the only time besides when he first morphed that any of these Anwild Fighting Putties, these Rangers are actually have their visors. Because Jason remembers the rules that Zordon gave about being the Power Rangers. Don't start a fight unless you're provoked, keep your identity a secret, and never use your powers for personal gain, yada yada yada. Now, Jason's dad, I think, knows who that was. Especially if something at the end of the movie. So basically, the Rangers are holding this line over the vortex of the Zeo Crystal. And they're getting shoved in by Goldar. And basically, they're all going down for the ship. And when they all go down, what reemerges is the Megazord. Now, this is a very interesting thing, because I kind of like this too. Because I think what that does is the Rangers earned their Megazord. I basically think what it is the Rangers earned their Megazord by willing basically to die in their individual Zords, thus proving that they truly are a team now. And they each operate one limb of the Megazord, which I think is kind of dumb, but eh. And it's kind of like the song in Santa Claus is Coming to Town, the Rankin Bass thing, not the actual song. You know, the whole put one foot in front of the other, and soon you'll be walking out the door, that kind of thing. Because it's basically like that, where they're learning how to activate the legs and the arms, yada yada yada. And we don't destroy the monster. Basically what the Rangers do is they basically German suplex Goldar on his head. And that destroys Goldar, he melts. And then Rita, I guess because she's Carter Grayson, goes up to the Megazord by herself, saying that there'll be others and that no team can survive, which the Rangers say, well, Jason says, I don't know about that, but I know one thing for sure, that for right now you've lost. And basically, he then slaps Rita all the way into space. And that makes Billy say, Jason, did you just slap her? And as she's in space, she freezes, but you notice she doesn't have her staff and the power coin, and I'll get into that in just a minute. So basically, as the end of every Power Rangers episode, you have the Megazord doing a dance, and you have the Angel Grove citizens celebrating their new heroes. And among the Angel Grove citizens are Jason David Frank and Amy Jo Johnson, who do nothing in this movie except take pictures. They don't have any lines, don't have anything like that. Personally, I like that because, one, giving them any lines or any kind of bigger part might have overshadowed the actual team that we have. And two, if you're doing what you're doing for the sequel of this, if there is one, which I assume there will be, save JDF's role for that particular thing, because it would be a much better use of that. And basically that's... And then you see at the end of the movie, Jason is putting the power sword back in his little thing, and Zordon says, keep it, you might need it. And Jason says he'll come back for it. Thus submitting that this is the Power Ranger team. And also you see them returning to their everyday lives. Trini's with her two little brothers who are saying how great the Black and the Red Ranger are. And she says, well, how come neither of you want to be the Yellow Ranger? And they're like, well, cool, the Yellow Ranger's cool. And Trini's like, how do you know it's a he? And then we get a teaser for detention of a new student, Tommy Oliver, who's not shown because they haven't, I guess the role's not cast yet. But more specifically, you do see the green jacket, and I guess that this is your tease for the second movie. And then Billy blows up a locker because I guess he put another bomb in his lunchbox. So that was the Power Ranger movie of 2017. It is actually better than the 1995 movie. I think it's the best cinematic Power Rangers you actually can have. It doesn't alienate people who grew up with the series, while also people who don't like the series, I think also like this show, like this movie. So there's that. Now, 95 didn't do a lot of things right, but I think the one thing it did do right is it had a very interesting villain, Ivan Ooze. Now, at the time of that, Ivan Ooze was the most interesting villain besides Lord Zed, but now the Rita that they made for this movie was basically kind of what she should have always been in the series, but wasn't. So yeah, really, there's not a lot to say about 95's film in comparison to this one because they're different, but this one is so much better than the one in 95. It still has its corny jokes and stuff like that, but it is still taking itself more serious. And still being PG-13, so no massively foul, over-the-top language, which I, for one, don't want to see in any Power Ranger movie. I don't want Power Rangers to go R. I'm fine with it going PG-13. I don't want it going R, so that's just my personal opinion, mind you. So, yeah, I thought all 5 Rangers did really good. Especially, though, R.J. Styler, who plays Billy. He is the way Billy is written in this movie is he's the heart of this Ranger team. and it shows a lot. I thought Bryan Cranston as Zordon did a really good job. He wasn't on screen much, which is fine. This isn't about Zordon, it's about the Rangers, so keep him to a minimum. Elizabeth Banks as Rita was okay. She went over the top when she had to, but for the most part, she was threatening. And now, I do wonder, though, if they ever introduce Lord Zedd to the cinematic universe, how that's going to come off. Are they going to do what they had to do in the series and water him down, or are they going to let him be what he started out being? And if they do introduce Lord Zedd, I think the one thing most Power Ranger fans can agree on is his original voice actor must voice him in any movie he shows up in. Because at this point in time, Robert Axelrod's voice of Lord Zedd is more iconic than a lot of different situations. So if Lord Zedd shows up, just get his original voice actor, and you're fine with that. As far as Tommy Oliver goes, honestly, if there's a second movie, which I almost guarantee there's going to be, almost every superhero movie gets some kind of a sequel. This, even though it didn't beat Beauty and the Beast in its opening weekend, it still made $40 billion, which, come on, that's not shabby. But again, but going up against Beauty and the Beast was not going to do it any favors. But again, still made a lot of money its opening weekend. But I think that the second movie, if there is one, is going to be, the first half of it is going to be Green of Evil, and then the second part of the movie, the third act of it, is Tommy actually becoming the 6th Power Ranger. Now, the Dragon Zord, though, I wonder what's going to happen to that. And the Dragon Dagger and all the other stuff. So yeah, that's my review of the Power Rangers 2017 movie. The best movie I've seen in quite a while, actually. So, sadly, I can't give you any more Ninja Steel reviews because it's on this hiatus for 5 months. Seriously, Nick, that's way too long. But I will give you some kind of content. I'll be starting back up my retro wrestling reviews. I haven't done one of them, I think, in about a year. Last one I did was Mayhem 99 from WCW, so a WWE one is next. I don't know which one it'll be, but I'll probably have one of them uploaded maybe next week. And I'm also going to give you a very special 90s retrospective. Oh yes, it's time for me, while the Power Rangers on hiatus, to look at the greatest decade, or at least half a decade of kids' TV. The late 80s to the early 90s. My childhood in a nutshell. We had such great stuff. We had all the classic Nicktoons, all the Nick sitcoms that were good, even though some might not be that good. You know, we had the classic Nick game shows, of which I'll be looking at all 5 of the known ones. Double Dare, Nick Guts, Nick Arcade, Wild and Crazy Kids, so I'll be looking at those 4. And Legend of the Hidden Temple. And of course, we actually had some very good and fun educational shows that were actually fun to watch. So that's going to give me a blast doing that. And that's what I basically have for content coming up to replace Power Rangers. I'm guessing in September or late August that'll be back. So I'll give you more Ninja Steel review then. I'm going to throw this into my Power Ranger retrospective playlist because it kind of is a Power Ranger retrospective. Speaking of that, I haven't done one of those videos in over a year because I haven't actually started RPM yet. I will start RPM sometime and I'll get the video up. I just don't know when. Sometimes I don't put myself on any schedule when it comes to videos. So, if you like this video, like button down there, subscribe button down there, and thank you for watching. Bye.